How clutch was Jack today? I mean, he seemed like that's the maybe. I mean, he's had some zeros, some shutouts earlier, but that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the best part of Jack today, outside of the zeros, you go 6 scoreless. You need to talk about the 6 scoreless first. You know, that's a great accomplishment. It's putting the team on your back and getting you to the 7th inning, especially with the lead. But the way that he did it, that he was able to stay composed, you know, he's able to win the big at bats, especially at the end. He's fatiguing. We don't really want to go to the pen in the 6th. We have the 3-run lead. He's going a 3rd time through. Like, all of that factoring in with the weight of the world on his shoulders, he stayed calm, competitive, and won the battle. And so I think that's a great sign for him, you know, and for our group to be able to win that big spot.
It's not so much about small things, execution. What did it mean to see some good at bats strung together to run the base?
Yeah, for sure. It feels like we hadn't seen that in a while, right? Like, we've really had a hard time showing our identity in what we're about when you're not collecting hits. Now, you know, that inning where, you know, it sort of illustrates what these last couple of weeks have felt like, where you go leadoff single by Dingler, Parker gets the double, 2nd and 3rd, 2 quick at bats that are frustrating, and then Glaber with the big blow. Like, the inning's not over because you struggled in the 2 at bats prior to that. You know, Javi's trying to go oppo for the sac fly, doesn't hit it deep enough. Colt indecisive. You know, he hits the ball too shallow, but Glaber picked up his teammate and hits a 3-run homer, and you know, that was all we needed up to that point. And then the big, you know, the big 8th inning, and it was pretty awesome to see.
Obviously, it remains to be seen where you go from this win. But is there a sense that because it was such a breakout for so many guys that it can be something to kind of get the collective exhale and loosen?
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, obviously, you get to the next series, new opponent, new pitching, and we'll see our old friend Eduardo, you know, tomorrow, and you know, we've got to go get prepared for that team. But of course, you want to capture a fun night off at your house with your family, and then come to the ballpark ready to play like we have for 100+ games. This team has been really good about changing gears going into the next series, and obviously the way that it's gone the last week, this win, you know, feels extra important.
We saw something different on the field, of course, with the runs and Flaherty pitching well. Did you see something different in their reaction after the game on the bench or anything like that?
Well, it's not our first win. You know, I don't want to make too much out of a win. We obviously have not had a great 2 weeks. We've won before. So it's the same song, it's the same line, it's the same celebration. Our guys believe we can win. And no 2 weeks is going to take that away from us. So let's not make it any more theatrical than a really fun high-five line and get to the next series.
Was there a slight adjustment with Jack and Dylan early in the game to go to the fastball 2-strike counts more? It looked like early on the Jays were sending the off speed the other way with 2 strikes.
Yeah. You know, I have to talk to them about it. I think, you know, you're always in the cat and mouse game against good offenses, especially those that battle you. You have to be unpredictable. You have to move your pitches around. There's no recipe necessarily to get guys out consistently the same way. So they felt like a couple finished fastballs were going to be important, and they were. And, you know, their side's really smart. Like, those are smart hitters. If you see the approach they're taking and what they're conceding to stay in the at-bat, you know, that was a very impressive weekend by a collection of hitters over there that were trying to counter what we were doing. So it was important for us to do something maybe a tick differently today.
On that note, AJ, you happy to say farewell to Bichette, who's just a
yeah,
your guy.
yeah, he was a problem, and he's, you know, obviously that stretch in the middle of their order is as dangerous as it comes with how they're swinging the bat. Both their selection, their battle, their production. We don't know what to do with Bichette right now, and that's somebody else's problem tomorrow. I think they're going to Baltimore, so good luck.
What did you like best about Flaherty's performance?
His endurance, you know, his ability to finish the outing, you know, which was really important. You know, we have the big lead or the big swing that leads to the lead, and he's finishing his outing. You know, when he can finish with a handshake and a hug as opposed to handing me the ball on a game like today where he was in control of his outing. His endurance had to be locked in to make his best pitches once he got over 100 pitches.
Carey didn't have a hit today, but did his presence?
It matters. Yeah, Carey's presence matters. It changes how they navigate our lineup. You know, he's a really big threat. It plays into how Glaber's getting pitched because Carey's a threat. So when you can impact a game and not necessarily be the feature of the game, that's a middle of the order bat. And so I do think his presence helped our team. First off, a lot of hugs and a lot of happiness seeing him back in our clubhouse, but our lineup just looks differently and functions differently, you know, with him in it, even if he's not the feature guy every particular day.
Guys determine starters for next season?
Yeah, so we're going to Troy Melton's going to pitch tomorrow, and we're going to be TBD the rest of the way. That would normally be Casey's spot. He had some intermittent knee stiffness coming out of his last inning. That's resolved, not a problem, but it changed his work in between his outings, and so we're gonna push him to later in the series. So he's thrown a couple times off the mound, so it's very minor, but it did alter his preparation, and so Troy's going to go on regular rest tomorrow.
Thank you.
After a 25-pitch first, Jack, you come back with 9 in the second. AJ was praising your endurance. Just give me a sense of how much you felt like you just really wanted to put the team on your shoulders and work all the way through and work as long as you could.
No, that's not what it's about. It's about each and every guy in here and what they do and the work that they put in, throughout it all. And, now it's about, taking it to the next team that comes in here.
You talked about, after your last start, you talked about getting back to competing, getting out of the analytics a little bit in your head and going after it. Did that kind of manifest itself, especially that first inning when you went, right after Barger there, and after with the two guys on?
It's one of those things. Sometimes you gotta figure out what you need a little bit more of. And last year was one thing, and this year felt like there was a little bit more. Take a little bit more after school, but there's a little bit more if you needed, and feels like something that's going to be needed throughout the rest of this year.
Did you guys also make a slight adjustment, you and Ding, with going to the fastball more 2 strikes? It seemed like they might have been sitting soft on the 2 strike counts.
I don't know about adjustment, just something that you notice throughout the course of the game and maybe through the course of the season of the way teams start to approach me a little bit. So it's either you got to use the fastball and you got to throw it. So you got to use everything that you got in your arsenal. So like we said, if you got it, throw it. So we're able to make adjustments and make pitches. And Glaber had a huge hit there in the 3rd inning, and for me it was that 4th inning was the biggest, where it's we get a lead and there it's about putting up a shutdown inning, and able to put up a 0 there was huge. And then from there it's just continue to make pitches until he just says that's it.
Jack, we saw the big hug that AJ greeted you with in the dugout. Was that a sign of just how badly you guys needed this one?
Well, that's not the end of the game there. So these guys continued to add on at that point. Holt came in, Haney came in. They both did their job, and these guys kept adding on. Getting it to 10-0, and Luke pitched well. If we get that call right to the first hitter, that inning's completely different. So he pitched well. They fouled off a bunch of pitches today. Bo fouled off pitches all series. So that wasn't the end of the game, but it was just he's shown a lot of confidence in me, and we got a lot of conversations, and we'll continue to.
Building off that, though, obviously this is a team that knows how to win, but just to get this done today, is there something that feels maybe a little bit different about this one than the other 60?
It's another one. It was a good one for me, good one for the guys. Big swing out of Glaber, and then you just kind of saw it there, and then in the 8th inning where got a little bit of guys started to get rolling a little bit more, and hopefully it carries on over in Arizona.
Riley couldn't convince you to show up with just a mustache today?
I saw him today, and we'll see if he keeps it. It works, so we'll see if he keeps it.
But seeing a win in the win column is definitely refreshing, and kind of, it's like when you haven't gotten a hit in a while. Just seeing one fall, sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
How much did Glaber's home run kind of allow you guys to relax or loosen up?
That's huge, especially 2 outs. yeah, and like I mean, Colt almost got a bloop single there. Javi was about 10 feet from a sac fly. Like, not coming through there is painful, and then for Glaber to pick us up was huge.
What does it mean to have carry back?
A lot. He's a unbelievable player, and he's just a great presence in our lineup. So it's really nice to have him back.
You guys have seen Jack these kind of performances before. How impressed with him? Just the way he kind of took on the challenge today.
Oh yeah, never a doubt. I mean, he's a bulldog. He's got really good stuff, and we believed in him. And as long as he just trusts his stuff, I think we have a really good shot and trust our defense and make pitches. That's what he did, and he got out of some jams too.
Tork, my apologies if you answered this question already, but to just see some hits and good at-bats strung together throughout this game, how can that help you guys going forward and just kind of like a sigh of relief?
Yeah, I think like when you haven't gotten a hit in a while, just seeing one fall is always nice, and just like a win. When you haven't won consistently in a while, just to see a win in the win column is pretty refreshing and kind of lets reminds you like, hey, we can win. Yeah.
Kind of following up on that, I mean, obviously it is just one win, and it remains to be seen if this becomes a streak or kind of snaps you guys back. But just to have a big inning like that and to see everybody get going, how much does it just help you guys relax ever so slightly and remember who you are?
I think it helps a little bit, yeah, for sure. To have a blow-up inning like that is just like does let us, remind us who we are and that we can score 10 runs a game. We can score 7 runs in an inning, So it's been a while since we've done that, so it was cool to see it.
Yeah, first one at home since